Begin this hearing. Good afternoon, and on behalf of the Committee on Senate Executive Appointments and Government Investigations, I would like to welcome Governor David M. Apatang, Representative, the appointees, elected officials, dignitaries, and members of the general public. Before we proceed with this public hearing, let me introduce the members of the Standing Committee on EAGI. Joining us virtually from Saipan, Senator Manny Castro. And to my left is the floor leader of the Senate, who is the chairman of the delegation of Rota, Senator Donald M. Manglonia. And to my right is Senator Ronnie M. Calvo. And I'm Senator Hofschneider. I am the acting chair for the committee, and I will be presiding over this hearing today. I would also like to announce a couple of things for informational purposes and some house rules regarding the code of conduct during the public hearing. Today, the members of the Standing Committee of the EAGR are conducting a public hearing on the appointment of Honorable Associate Judge Joseph N. Kamatsu to serve as presiding judge, and Attorney Joey Patrick San Nicolas to serve as Associate Judge of the Superior Court of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands. The public will be invited to comment on whether you support or oppose the appointment of the subject appointees before us this afternoon. We value your input. Any comment beyond the facts of the appointees or comments that are not directly related to this public hearing will not be entertained. Such comments will be removed from the record. At the same time, please observe minimal noises disrupting the hearing process. And please turn off your electronics or put them on silent mode. And as I mentioned earlier this morning, I again would like to thank Mayor Aubrey Hokuk for allowing us to utilize the Rota Mayor's Office conference room to conduct this hearing and to get the engagement of the great people of Luta with regards to the nominees before us this afternoon. Let us now begin. This public hearing is now in session. Today is March 19, 2026 at 2:03 p.m. in the afternoon in the Rota Mayor's Conference Hall. And this is a public hearing regarding the appointment of the Honorable Judge Joseph Norita Kamatsu and Attorney Joey Patrick San Nicolas by Governor David M. Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Dennis James C. Mendiola to serve as presiding judge and associate judge of the Superior Court of the Northern Mariana Islands. It's just a brief history and what brought us to today. The nomination to the judiciary of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, the Senate is entrusted with the constitutional responsibility to provide advice and consent on judicial appointments, and this public hearing is an essential part of fulfilling that duty. Under Article 4, Section 5 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, justices and judges of the Commonwealth courts are appointed by the governor and are subject to the advice and consent of the Senate. In carrying out that responsibility, the Senate, through the Executive Appointments and Government Investigation Committee, conducts public hearings to review qualifications, experience, integrity, and temperament of each nominee before any recommendation is made to the full Senate. The nominations before the committee today, or this afternoon, was as a result of the resignation of former Supreme Court Associate Justice Perry B. Enos. Following that resignation, the Governor has nominated Presiding Judge Robert C. Naraha to serve as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court to fill the vacancy left by Justice Enos. In turn, Associate Judge Joseph N. Kamatsu has been nominated to fill the presiding judge position and would be vacated by Judge Naraha if confirmed by the Senate. And Attorney Joey Patrick San Nicolas has been nominated to fill the associate judge position that would be vacated by Judge Kamatsu if confirmed by the Senate. Such, these nominations represent a series of appointments within the judiciary that require the Senate's review and consent. Additionally, the conduct of this hearing is being guided by the Senate rules and laws of the government or governing the confirmation process, which requires transparency, accountability, and opportunity for public input. These hearings ensure that nominees to the judiciary are carefully and fairly evaluated, and that the Senate's constitutional duty to the people of the Commonwealth is carried out with diligence and respect for the rule of law. Today's proceeding will allow members of the committee to hear testimonies from the nominees, review their professional background, and receive comments from the public and interested stakeholders. Following the hearing and any further deliberation, the committee will determine whether to recommend the nomination to the full Senate. Before I proceed, I just wanted to again go on record saying that this is the first of 3 hearings of the appointees. The next one will be on Tinian, right now scheduled at March 26, 2026. And Saipan is on April 1st, 2026. Ms. Clarissa D. Sablan will be our legislative assistant assisting the committee today. Mr. Joe Bermudez will be our legal counsel. Mr. Ben Terlahi will be our Senate Sergeant at Arms. And Mr. Jonathan Diaz will be our IT manager and will serve accordingly for this public hearing. And at this time, the chair recognizes Ms. Claire Sablan to proceed with the roll call for today's public hearing.
Senator Ronnie M. Calvo.
Present.
Senator Manny T. Castro.
Stiga.
Senator Francisco Q. Cruz. Senator Jude U. Hofschneider.
Aye.
Senator Corina L. Magofnia. Senator Donald M. Manglonia.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have 4 members present and 2 members absent.
With 4 members present and 2 members absent, we have a quorum to proceed on to conduct this public hearing this afternoon. Let the record reflect that both Vice President Corina Magofnia and Senator Frank Q. Cruz are hereby excused from today's hearing. At this time, do I hear a motion to adopt today's public hearing agenda?
So moved.
It's been offered by the floor leader and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion to adopt today's meeting agenda, please say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. This agenda is hereby approved. Now, if there's no objection from members, I would like to acknowledge and recognize the Governor's Rep, Mr. John Paul Regis, to address and to introduce the nominees to this panel. And I would also respectfully ask that both nominees accompany Mr. John Regis to the seat that's provided before us today.
Good afternoon, Hoffaday Antiro, Honorable Acting Chairman Jude U. Hofschneider, and Honorable Senate members of the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations Committee. For record purposes, my name is John Paul B. Regis, Special Assistant for Administration under the Office of the Governor. On behalf of the Honorable Governor David M. Apateng and the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Dennis James C. Mindiola, I thank you for conducting this public hearing and the opportunity to appear before you today once more. It is with distinct honor to present the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's nominees, the Honorable Associate Judge Joseph James Norita Camacho, to serve as the presiding judge of the Superior Court, and Mr. Joey Patrick San Nicolas to serve as Associate Judge for the Superior Court of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Honorable Joseph James Norita Camacho is a distinguished jurist with a comprehensive academic background. He obtained his Master's of Public Administration from Seattle University and a Juris Doctor from Gonzaga University School of Law. He brings over 35 years of high-level public service to the CNMI, from the front lines of law enforcement to the halls of the legislature, and ultimately to the bench. Judge Camacho is currently serving his third judicial term as an associate judge from the CNMI Superior Court, where he has presided over hundreds of trials and authored more than 240 published opinions on complex criminal, civil, and cultural matters. Judge Camacho is a leading figure in the CNMI legal community, recognized for his deep commitment to the rule of law and constitutional education. Beyond the bench, he is a dedicated supporter of programs that educate our youth, the community about law, champion of cultural preservation, and maintain deep connection in his heritage, and active practitioner of traditional Chamorro and Carolinian seafaring. For his part, Attorney Joey Patrick San Nicolas brings over 30 years of distinguished public service and legal expertise to the bench, and if confirmed, he will be the first associate judge of the CNMI Superior Court nominated from the Island Athenian. Mr. San Nicolas is a graduate from the Mitchell Hamlin College of Law and a cum laude alumnus of Chaminade University. His extensive career is defined by high-level leadership roles, including serving as an Attorney General for the CNMI, Mayor of Tinian, Anaguiguen, and the President of the Association of Mariana Islands Mayors. This diverse background, combined with academic foundation, equips him with a comprehensive and authoritative perspective of the Commonwealth's legal and constitutional framework. Governor Apateng and Lieutenant Governor Mindiola place their full trust and confidence in Judge Camacho and Attorney San Nicolas to serve as presiding and associate judge for the Superior Court of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Judge Camacho and Attorney San Nicolas stands ready to address any questions and concerns you may have, and we respectfully seek for your committee's favorable consideration. Thank you, Jesus Mossi Zangiliso, for the opportunity to introduce them to this august body, Mr. Chairman.
Jesus Mossi, Mr. Regis. Before I recognize the nominees, allow me to recognize again our good mayor from Rota. Thank you for joining us, Madam Mayor, Municipal Council Chair, and your members. I see the former governor here. Welcome to Rota. I also would be remiss if I don't recognize the wonderful partner and the wife of the nominee, Ms. Connie San Nicolas, and your relatives. Thank you for being here. So with that, with no objection from the members, I would like to recognize the appointees to deliver their opening statements. And I must say that this is an unusual undertaking, because this is the first time that we actually do a hearing for two nominees in the same time. So correct, yeah. So, but at this time, I respectfully ask that you both rise, and I'm going to recognize Ms. Sablon to administer the oath.
Honorable Associate Judge Joseph N. Camacho and Attorney Joey Patrick San Nicolas, you do solemnly swear, under the penalty of perjury, that the testimony you shall give in the matter at hand shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk. Thank you both. You may take your seat. And now, if there's no objection from the members, I wish to recognize the nominees or the appointees. And I will start with the Judge Komatsu to offer your opening statement to the committee, to the public.
Good afternoon, Senators. Okay. I'll keep my opening statement brief. I know lawyers like to say that, but sometimes they talk on and on. But I'll keep it brief, Senators. In large part because you already have a lot of the questionnaires that we've answered and my resume and things of that nature. So let me say that. Hafadays and Tiro senators, first, thank you for holding these public hearings. Also, I'd like to thank Governor Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Mindiola for nominating me to the position as presiding judge. And I want to thank the many families and friends who have submitted letters of support and appear at these public hearings to show their support for my fellow judicial nominees and I want to especially thank those in the legal community that have submitted letters of support. I would like to briefly touch on two things. As a judge for almost 16 years, I have presided over hundreds of cases and hearings each year. I have at least presided over thousands of cases and hearings by now. First, context matters. Without proper context and background, it is difficult for a judge to make a well-informed decision. When things are taken out of context, it skews the results. For example, Michael Jordan, to borrow a sports analogy here, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls won many basketball games and championships. As great as they were, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls did not win every game. If we were to cherry pick and focus on just 5 games that Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls lost, we would arrive at the conclusion that they were not a very good team. Context matters. To get a better view, judges must see the whole picture. Second, judges do their best to make good decisions as they understand the facts and the law at that time. Our judicial system resolves disputes in an adversarial format. That means that someone wins and someone loses. Any day of the week at the courthouse, someone is walking out happy and the other side is upset. And sometimes both sides are unhappy. The few times that I have seen both sides happy is during an adoption of a baby or during a courthouse wedding. Context matters, and of the hundreds of cases and hearings each year heard by the 5 Superior Court judges, only about 20 or so are appealed to the Supreme Court. Senators, thank you again for holding this public hearing. I stand ready to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Jesus Masi, Judge Komatsu. At this time, I recognize the nominee for Associate Judge, Joey Patrick San Nicolas.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Chairman, enquanto niya sa guawza ni familya ko, extended onklo na Jesus Masi purin sedi, hami, pabin no kintusiamzo kumu hamzo, no ikwet punisti imafanan EAGI na komite, puskinin hami zani familya mami, onklo na Jesus Masi, Mr. Acting Chairman, zani membro ni na EAGI, zan todo ni manajujuda, mu na posibli estina na inekungok para publikun Marianas. Saya dizulok ke zabehu rikugnisa iat kadin estina bonitun isla as honorably Mayor Aubrey Hokuk zan todo I man magas I man mananea mona esti I talu nagat bonisla como I Rota Municipal Council zan lokwi delegation. Mr. Chairman, honorable senators and members of the public, thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. I'm deeply honored by this nomination and grateful to Governor Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Mindiola for their confidence. I also appreciate the committee's careful consideration of this nomination. I would like to begin by recognizing my mother, whose life and sacrifice has shaped my own. My mom, Petra Pangilinan San Nicolas, grew up during World War II in Yap, in the Caroline Islands. In 1948, she migrated from Yap to Tinian, aboard a U.S. Navy LST with her parents, Juan Guzman San Nicolas and Ana Torres Pangilinan San Nicolas, along with her fellow Chamorros, where they helped establish what is now San Jose Village and the San Jose Church. She went on to become one of the first nurses on Tinian, having been trained at Maturana Hospital in Saipan. She served her community as a midwife and practical nurse, caring for families and bringing new life into the world. She was also the first in her family to travel beyond the Northern Marianas to Guam and eventually to the mainland, where she built lasting relationships that connected our islands. From her, I learned compassion, service, and the importance of treating others with dignity. I grew up in Tinian and graduated as co-valedictorian from Tinian High School in 1991. I later attended Chaminade University of Honolulu, where I graduated cum laude with leadership distinction in December of 1994, earning a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics. In the summer of 2000, I participated in the Northern Marianas College pre-law program. That experience further strengthened my commitment to the legal profession. Among my fellow participants were individuals who would go on to serve the Marianas as attorneys: Michael Evangelista, Rose Monsantos, Rachel Taimanya, and Janet King, to name a few. It was an early reminder that the future of our legal community would be built together. I went on to earn my Juris Doctor from what was then known William Mitchell College of Law, now known as Mitchell Hamlin, in St. Paul, Minnesota, in May of 2003, and I was admitted to practice law in 2004. Allow me, Mr. Chairman, to share a defining moment that solidified my path to becoming a lawyer. In 1995, at the age of 21, I had the privilege of being elected to the 3rd Constitutional Convention, representing the people of Tinian. There I found myself in a room with individuals whose knowledge and experience were extraordinary. I had the opportunity to learn from attorneys Howard Willens and Deanne Seymour, who served as our lead legal counsels. Working alongside them were then newly retired Chief Justice Jose S. de la Cruz and the late Maya Cara. Assisting the team were law students who would later serve the Commonwealth with distinction: Jacinta Caipat and Ramona V. Manglonia, along with then attorney and now our Associate Justice, John Manglonia. Among the delegates were leaders such as former Governor Carlos Escamazzo, the late Lieutenant Governor Benjamin T. Manglonia, the late Tinian Mayor James M. Mendiola, the late former Speaker Jose R. Lifoifoy, and my friend and mentor, the late Tinian educator Henry U. Hofschneider, among many others. As a young delegate, I listened, I observed, and I learned. The discussions were profound, issues complex, and at times controversial. Yet what stood out most was that, despite differences, everyone remained committed to the process and to the Commonwealth. After 60 days of discussion and debate, I left that convention with clarity about my path. I wanted to become a lawyer. Since being admitted to the bar in 2004, I have had the privilege of serving as counsel in the CNMI House of Representatives and the municipality of Tinian and Agiguan, spending many years in private practice, handling probate, civil litigation, criminal defense, and family law matters, serving as a prosecutor in Guam, and serving as the Attorney General of the Commonwealth. I have also had the honor of serving as Mayor of Tinian, as a trustee of the Marianas Public Land Trust, as a regent at the Northern Marianas College, and as an instructor at NMC. These experiences across law, education, and public service have given me a broad and practical understanding of the justice system and the people it serves. They have prepared me for the role of associate judge by reinforcing the importance of listening carefully, applying the law faithfully, and exercising independence and impartiality in every decision. Above all, they have taught me that public trust in the judiciary depends on integrity, fairness, and the respect for the rule of law. If confirmed, I understand that my role will not be to advocate, but to listen, not to advance personal views, but to apply the law, and not to serve any particular interest, but to uphold the rule of law with independence, impartiality, and integrity. I am deeply grateful for the love and support of my beautiful wife, Connie Manglonia San Nicolas, and our children. Each of you keep me grounded, you remind me of what truly matters, and you give meaning to my commitment to service. I love each and every one of you. Finally, I would like to thank the people of Rota for coming to this public hearing and for your support. Ondonklu na si Jusmasi, Zan Giliso. Mr. Chairman and the members, I approach this nomination with humility and with all respect for this committee and your constitutional role. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members, for your time and for your consideration. Si Jusmasi.
Mr. San Nicolas. Now, if there's no objection from the members, I would like to open the floor for the public comment. But before I officially open the floor, I would like to remind everyone of the House rules mentioned earlier that all public comments and input are valued. However, any comments beyond the facts of the appointee or comments that are not directly related or germane to the public hearing today will not be entertained, and such comments will be removed from the record. And before I open for the general public, I first would like to recognize our mayor of Rota. If you can please approach the desk or the mic, and please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Hafaday, good afternoon. For the record, my name is Aubrey Holkog, Mayor for the Municipality of Rota. Once again, I'd like to extend our greetings to you, Acting Chairman, and distinguished members of these bodies, to our appointees, their friends, families, our members of our community here present. It is an honor for me to express my full support for our governors, our Governor David Apateng and our Lieutenant Governor Dennis Mendiola's nomination of Honorable Judge Joseph Camacho to serve as presiding judge of the Superior Court, and Attorney Joey P. San Nicolas to serve as associate judge for the Superior Court. During his 16+ years as an associate judge, Honorable Joseph Camacho has distinguished himself as a people's judge. His background, ranging from his early days as a police officer to his service in the legislature, gives him a holistic view of the justice system that few others possess. For Rota, Judge Camacho has been more than a face on the bench. He has been an educator and a mentor, frequently engaging with our youth and cadets to demystify the law and inspire the next generation of public servants. As we look toward the future of the Superior Court, Rota stands to benefit greatly from Judge Camacho's focus on specialized dockets, such as the mental health court docket. His innovative approach to justice, one that prioritizes rehabilitation and community health alongside domestic order, aligns perfectly with our municipal goals of building a safer, more resilient community. Honorable Judge Camacho possesses the administrative foresight and the temperament necessary to lead the Superior Court into its next chapter. And with that, I strongly advocate for his confirmation as presiding judge. As Mayor of Rota, I am aware that the strength of our Commonwealth is derived from the distinct voices and specialized experiences of each of its senatorial districts. It is with this appreciation for our constitutional structure that I endorse the nomination of Attorney Joey P. San Nicolas to the Superior Court of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Rota has a proud history of contributing distinguished jurists to the bench, individuals who brought the specific needs and legal nuances of the 1st Senatorial District into the halls of justice. To maintain the integrity of a truly unified judiciary, it is essential that this tradition of geographic diversity continues to evolve. The nomination of Mr. San Nicolas represents a vital step towards that objective. By seating a jurist with deep roots in the 2nd Senatorial District, our neighboring island of Tinian, we ensure that the Superior Court possesses a complete three-dimensional understanding of the Commonwealth it serves. Mr. San Nicolas's record is one of rare versatility, having served as Attorney General and as the mayor, former mayor of Tinian and Agriwen. He has viewed the law through the eyes of both the Chief Legal Officer and the Chief Executive. This dual perspective is invaluable, as he understands that for the residents of Rota, Tinian, the law is not an abstract concept discussed in Saipan. It is the framework that governs our land use, our municipal operations, and our access to justice. His appointment does not merely fill a vacancy, it bridges a jurisdictional gap. He has proven his ability has proven to navigate the complexities of our inter-island governance, making him an ideal candidate to uphold the dignity of the bench while remaining grounded in the practical realities of our community. Once again, I humbly urge this distinguished body to please support our Governor David Apateng's, our Lieutenant Governor Dennis Mendola's appointment, as we fully support and endorse their appointment. Thank you, Sizus Masi. Thank you.
Sizus Masi, Honorable Aubrey Hokuk, Mayor of Rota. At this time, the chair wishes to recognize the chairman of Rota Municipal Council and members. If you please proceed to the mic and kindly state your name for the record.
Thank you, Acting Honorable Senator Jude Hofschneider and Senate Committee, Standing Committee. I would like to start off first with our Honorable Judge, Judge Joseph N. Camacho. For the record, my name is Jonathan H. Lizama, Chairman of the Rota Municipal Council, alongside with my colleagues, Vice Chairwoman Sandra Masga and Secretary Tilly Taimanyo. We are expressing our strong endorsement for the appointment of confirmation of Honorable Judge Joseph N. Camacho. Camacho has constantly exemplifies professionalism, integrity, and steadfast commitment to our fair and impartial administration of justice throughout his judicial career. Over the years, Judge Camacho has earned the confidence and respect of his peers, members of the legal profession, and the border community. His dedication to upholding the rule of law, coupled with ability to approach each case with fairness and objectively, reflects on core principles essential to an effective judiciary. His extensive legal experience throughout decision-making and comprehensive understanding of the law position him as an exceptional candidate for continuous service. Judge Camacho's unwavering commitment to public service and his adherence to the highest ethical standards demonstrate the qualities necessary for strong and judiciary leadership. His continued role on the bench will help sustain public trust and confidence in our judicial system. In light of this qualification, we respectfully encourage your support, along with the Senate, in confirming the appointment of Judge Joseph N. Camacho. For Mr. Joey P. San Nicolas, we are again expressing our strong support for the appointment of Mr. Joey P. San Nicolas for Associate Judge. Mr. San Nicolas has, throughout his career, Mr. San Nicolas has earned the respect of his colleagues, the legal community, and the public through his commitment to upholding the rule of law, ensuring that all individuals who come before the court are treated with fairness and impartiality. This depth of legal knowledge and sound judgment and strong ethical standards make him exceptionally well qualified for this position. In addition to his professional qualification, Mr. San Nicolas has shown a genuine commitment to serving the community. In approach, his work with diligence, respect, and clear understanding of responsibilities and entrusted to those within the judicial system. We are confident that Joey P. San Nicolas will serve with distinction as assistant judge and will continue to uphold the integrity and credibility of judiciary. We respectfully urge your favorable consideration of his appointment. Thank you, si Jesus Mosi. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Jesus Masi, Chairman Lizama. At this time, the chair wishes to recognize any member of the Rota community who is with us today to approach the mic to offer testimony in reference to the meeting that we're having today, the nomination for the judiciary nomination for presiding judge and associate judge. The floor is now open.
Acting Chairman, members of the distinguished committee, my name is Ivan T. Merib Jr. I'm a voter and resident of Sinapalo 1, Dulili Street, in the 1st Senatorial 7 Precinct, Rota. Earlier, members of our great community, leaders, expounded on the jurisprudence, the intellectual knowledge of what our candidates and nominees have above. Please allow me to express the human element when I know the two gentlemen in front of us. Back in 2001, I was a student of the Upper Bound program, and during the Upper Bound program, myself, including Mayor Hokuk, who had a mentor visit us in 2001 summer component, and that was Joseph Norita Camacho Esquire, a former member of the Upper Bound program and a mentor for the Upper Bound students, always guiding us and giving us the ability to dream farther and achieve tremendous goals. That is the statement when I first met Associate Judge Joseph Norita Camacho when he was still an attorney. At the same Northern Marianas College, I was given the opportunity to serve and elected twice as the Associate Student Body President of ASNMC, and that's where I met attorney then, but I had to call him Chairman San Nicolas from Tinian, who sat on the Board of Regents. During his tenure, he was one of the most vocal chairmen of the Board of Regents that asked students to speak up, asked students to always remember to know your rights, and remember that in college, you're paying the bill. These are two gentlemen that reached out to the community members, whether they're from Rota, Saipan, and Tinian, and encouraged them in different aspects to succeed and go beyond. For Judge Camacho, we both have a mutual friend. He used to serve as a floor leader of the CNMI, the late Congressman George Norita Camacho. He was also the chair of the Library Council. Every time that they come to Rota, the first thing they'll do is visit our libraries, visit our farmers, and visit our manamcos. That is the courtesy of leadership and compassion. I used to work under the late Efren Manglonia Atlic, former mayor of Rota, and during the exit of Judge Bowden, it was under the defunto's belief that it was a possibility that Joey Patrick San Nicolas Esquire might be selected as a judge one of these days. So he had me write a letter, and I committed that into memory to this day, that recognized not only a combination of being a mayor, attorney general, but, and I'm glad my colleague from the 15 Rota Municipal Council is present, George Ogohokuk. During our inauguration as the 15 Rota Municipal Council, Joey Patrick San Nicolas was mayor of Tinian and Aguiguin, and he came to Rota, he met with us, and he always encouraged us to always do the best. In the end, I am very happy to be here and speak on behalf of my late boss, Mayor Efren, and I'm also happy to see that Joey is here, as well as Joseph is here. Thank you guys. Again, as I close, I want to make sure that upon confirming these individuals, let's give them the autonomy, let's give them the resources needed for them to execute their position at the third branch of government. Ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Ivan T. Merib Jr., voter, resident of Sinapalo 1, Dulili Street, and I stand in firm confirmation for the governor, lieutenant governor's appointee for the judicial nominees of Associate Judge Joseph Narita Camacho, as well as Judge, soon to be Joey Patrick St. Nicholas from the good people of Tinian. Jesus Masi.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Mereb. The floor is still open for any member of the public to offer testimony in reference to our meeting this afternoon, entertaining nominees for the judiciary. And before you proceed, kindly state your name for the record. Thank you.
Buenas tardes. My name is Rosita A. Tautoluta. I'm here in support for the both nominees nominated by the Governor Apateng and Lieutenant Governor Mendiola. I am confident that they know what they're getting into, and that with our help, they will succeed. I don't know them personally, but I know them by face, and sometimes we do say hi. But at this moment, I would only emphasize that it's a big responsibility, and that you are gonna decide or make the decision on the fate of a case that you will be hearing, both as presiding judge or as an associate judge, if confirmed. So what I'm gonna say is that it is a small world here in the CNMI, where you know almost everybody. You are related, even though you don't have the blood, but you are through somewhere. So it's difficult to work and say that you will be impartial, but you will do your best so that you will not administer justice without due respect to the persons, and that you will ensure that equal rights for both the rich and the poor will be administered. And I have full faith in you both. I cannot say much about Judge Camacho, but I want to appeal to the senators, because I've read that there's been negative comments, and that's normal. But you are the judge and jury of the confirmation of all the nominees, and that you will do your homework, due diligence, and figure out whether what was submitted to your offices are in fact true and correct. But again, we have to be mindful that our island is a small community, and that if justice was served, then so be it. If not, there's a process to appeal. Now, in regards to Justice, soon to be Judge Joey St. Nicholas, I'd like to extend a very sincere comment with regard to your background. And it has been confirmed that you personally possess the quality of a hardworking, honest, compassionate person, even in your early stages of life when you were still a student. And whatever you deem to do, you make sure that you accomplish it. And this is coming from a former teacher that has worked with you throughout your early days in school. And I got that just before I left the house and I asked him, what can I say about Joey San Nicolas? And he said, just say it like it is, that he's an honest, hardworking, compassionate, determined, and he will fulfill what he promised. So again, I commend both of you, and I trust that you will do the right thing. God bless.
Jesus Masi, Mrs. Hoku. The floor is still open for any member of the community to approach, please, and state your name for the record.
Yes. Day Tiro, and good afternoon to our distinguished members of the panel. My name is Benjamin Paul Taisken Manglonia, and I'm honored here to be here today to read a support letter from my uncle, Harold M. Manglonia, in support of the governor's nomination, most especially to Joey Patrick San Nicolas. I'll go ahead and read his letter. Dear Acting Chairman Jude U. Hofsnyder and members of the Senate Standing Committee on Executive Appointments and Government Investigations, it is my great honor to express my strong support for the appointment of Joey Patrick San Nicolas as Associate Judge of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands Superior Court. Throughout the years, Joey Patrick, known to many as JP, has consistently demonstrated the qualities that truly define public service, humility, integrity, and deep commitment not only to the people of Tinian, but to all the people of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. I have long admired the respect and professionalism with which he carries himself, while remaining grounded in his sincere desire to serve our community. During his college years, Joey greatly benefited from the mentorship and guidance of my father, the late Benjamin Taisken Manglonia, along with other distinguished leaders of our Commonwealth. Their leadership and wisdom helped shape Joey's perspective on service, responsibility, and the importance of giving back to the community. These influences clearly guided the path he chose and the values he continues to uphold today. Over the years, JP has served in a number of respected and prestigious roles, including Attorney at Law, Attorney General for the CNMI, Assistant Attorney General for Guam, Legal Counsel for the Commonwealth Ports Authority, and Mayor of Tinian. These positions reflect the trust and confidence placed in him by both the community and the institutes he serves. In every role, he has demonstrated sound judgment, humility, and steadfast commitment to the uplifting and support of the people of the CNMI. With what stands out the most about JP is his genuine dedication to helping others. His leadership style is thoughtful and respectful, and he approaches every responsibility with fairness, compassion, and strong sense of duty qualities that are essential for everyone entrusted with the responsibility of the judiciary. I firmly believe that Joey Patrick San Nicolas possesses the character, experience, and commitment necessary to serve with distinction as an associate judge. His continued service with undoubtedly bring honor to the judiciary and further strengthen the public trust in our justice system. Additionally, I would like to express my strong support for the appointment of Judge Robert C. Naraha as Associate Justice of the CNMI Supreme Court and Judge Joseph N. Camacho as Presiding Judge of the CNMI Superior Court. Thank you for your time and consideration. I respectfully look forward to the favorable appointment of Mr. San Nicolas, Judge Naraha, and Judge Camacho. Sincerely, Harold M. Manglonia.
Thank you, Mr. Paul Manglonia, for offering it on behalf of Mr. Harold Manglonia. Please proceed.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And before I proceed, let me first state my name for the record before I forget. You know, as we age, tendency is that sometimes we forget even our name. And so I'd like to extend my apology to Judge Camacho, but I would like again to put this on record that I will be submitting my letter at a later date. Good afternoon, the acting chair for the Committee on the EAGI and honorable members of this committee. It is with great respect and confidence that we submit this letter in support of the nomination of Attorney Joey Patrick J.P. San Nicolas to serve as an associate judge of the Superior Court of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Throughout his career, Attorney San Nicolas has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to the rule of law and the equitable administration of justice. His professional trajectory is spanning the executive, legislative. He used to be an attorney for the legislature at one point in time and private sectors. He has equipped himself with a rare and comprehensive understanding of the legal challenges facing our community. As a former Attorney General of the Commonwealth, he proved his ability to navigate complex legal frameworks with precision and high ethical standards. Furthermore, his experience as the mayor of Tinian and Aguiguan provided him with a profound perspective on the socio-economic realities of our islands, a quality that it is essential for any jurist task with interpreting the laws within the context of our unique Pacific community. In our observations of Mr. San Nicolas' work, several core competencies stand out. First, his judicial temperament. Attorney JP possesses the patience, open-mindedness, and decisiveness required to preside over a courtroom with fairness and decorum. 2, legal scholarship. Attorney JP, his track record in private practice reveals a meticulous approach to legal research and sharp analytical mind. 3rd, integrity. Attorney JP is widely recognized for his character and his dedication to transparency, qualities that will undoubtedly strengthen public confidence in the CNMI judiciary. The appointment of Attorney San Nicolas also represents a historic moment for judiciary representation from the 2nd Senatorial District. In fact, it was also a very memorable appointment since it was the day of the Super Bowl. I even missed to watch the second half for Bad Bunny or Bugs Bunny, whatever, since my attention was focused on the Marianas press coverage of the appointments, and of particular attention was when Attorney JP mentioned how wonderful or sentimental it would have been if his late mom was still here to witness his appointment. And so with that, his presence on the bench will ensure a well-rounded and inclusive perspective within our court system. We are confident that Attorney J.P. San Nicolas will serve the people of the Commonwealth with distinction, humility, and he mentioned humility in his introduction, and a steadfast adherence to the Constitution. Therefore, we strongly urge this committee to recommend his swift confirmation to the full Senate. In addition to my signing off this letter in support of the appointment of Attorney San Nicolas, several other individuals had also affixed their signatures, to wit, Carm H. Atalik, Tita A. Hokuk, and Auntie May Calvo. Again, I would like to extend my apology to Judge Camacho, but nonetheless, my letter or my testimony, my written testimony is forthcoming. And so again, the Honorable Acting Chair and members of this panel, if you have an extended, a period of time to be here, please join us at the Galita Festival. I believe it commences tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of, concessions there. And before I close, I would like to convey my sincerest gratitude to the former Justice, Associate Justice Perry Enos, for his tenure with the CNMI Supreme Court of the Commonwealth. I would also like to recognize the outstanding performance of, SAA Paul Regis for his remarkable introduction of the appointees. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon.
Jesus Masi, former Senator Teresita Santos. The floor is still open for any member of the public to offer testimony to the meetings, to the nominees today. Please approach and kindly state your name for the record.
Buenas, naanu si Agratovis Kirugua Manglonia, resident in Sinapaluan, Ginigizaluta. Sidus Masi ni Finatun Mitu. As you know, Chairman Jude, before I proceed, I always like to welcome everybody and agree with me that we take time to just thank the Lord for our lives today, because without that precious gift, we won't be here. So we thank Him, right? For in His words in Psalms 119:105, He said, His word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. So I always carry that with me, especially when I come out to support public nominees. So I echo the support of the previous speakers to the Governor Apateng and Lieutenant Governor Mendiola's nominees for presiding Judge Naraha and just a minute, presiding nominee for presiding Judge Robert Naraha and Associate Judge Joseph Camacho and presiding Judge Joseph Camacho and Associate Judge Joey P. San Nicolas. Please forgive me. So I'm here to support all the nominees. Most especially, I'm here to support my dear friend Judge Joseph Norita Camacho. And I will just read from a letter of support that I will be submitting. And I start again with the word of God in the book of Micah 6:8. It says, outlines the requirements to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. To the honorable members of the CNMI Senate, I want to leave you with Ecclesiastes 5:8, reminds officials that they are accountable to a higher authority. And I begin. It is an honor to recommend Associate Judge Joseph N. Camacho for confirmation as the presiding judge of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands Superior Court. Having served on the trial court bench since 2011, Camacho possesses the institutional knowledge and judicial temperament essential for leading the Superior Court. Judge Camacho's journey to this nomination is marked by a lifelong commitment to the Commonwealth. His unique background, spanning service as a police officer, a legislative floor leader, and a dedicated jurist, ensures he understands the law from every angle: enforcement, creation, and adjudication. This full circle experience is vital for a presiding judge, who must not only manage a courtroom, but also oversee the administrative health and stability of the trial court system. His record of public trust is exceptional. As an associate judge, he has been retained twice by the people of the Commonwealth with overwhelming margins, most recently in 2022 with 75% margin support. This consistent vote of confidence from the community, paired with his unanimous initial confirmation in 2011, underscores the reputation for impartiality and fairness that transcends political lines. Furthermore, Judge Camacho has demonstrated a profound respect for the cultural values of the Marianas, whether by taking his oath in Carolinian or his recent participation in traditional maritime voyages with 500 sails. He ensures that the judiciary remains a house of justice that reflects the norms and values of our people. I am confident that as presiding judge, Joseph Camacho will lead with the same integrity and one Marianas perspective that has defined his career. I urge the Senate to confirm his nomination to ensure the continued excellence of our judicial system. And I close again with a scripture in Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 17, and it reads, "Instructs judges to treat all people equally and fear God rather than men." Sincerely. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Manglonia, for your testimony. Once again, the floor is still open for any member that wish to, or any member of the public wish to offer comments. And kindly state your name for the record.
Good afternoon, Senators and the other honorable members of this committee. Also, I would like to thank the Governor and the Lieutenant Governor for their appointment. Of course, to the good Mayor for always supporting. Of course, for the SA who's here, present here today. Let me begin first with Judge Joseph N. Camacho. So I'm here today to publicly support the nomination of Judge Joseph N. Camacho. Throughout his 15 years as an associate judge, he has demonstrated a profound commitment to the municipality of Rota by ensuring our community has a consistent and direct access to the judiciary. By presiding over hundreds of trials on Rota and utilizing video teleconferencing for probate hearings, he has effectively removed the geographic barriers that often hinder our residents' access to legal proceedings in the past. Judge Camacho's expertise in Article 12 land issues and his deep respect for the Chamorro and Carolinian traditions is vital to the equitable administration of justice in our island. Furthermore, his dedication extends beyond the courtroom through his consistent mentorship of Rota students and all other students in the CNMI, in the mock trial programs, and his essential constitutional law training for our local law enforcement officers. His unique blend of legal scholarship, cultural fluency, and localized service makes him an exemplary jurist for the Commonwealth, and I urge the committee to confirm his nomination without delay. Now, for Mr. Joey P. San Nicolas, I'm also here today to express my full support for the nomination of Mr. Joey P. San Nicolas as an associate judge for the Superior Court. Working in public service on the island of Rota, I understand the weight and responsibility that comes with managing the needs of a smaller community within the Commonwealth. Mr. San Nicolas has carried that weight with distinction, both as an Attorney General and as Mayor for the island of Tinian. His background brings a practical, on-the-ground perspective to the judiciary that is often missing when the bench is centered solely in the capital. For those of us in the 1st and 2nd Senatorial District, having a judge who has navigated the specific administrative and executive challenges of our islands is a significant step forward. Mr. San Nicolas has demonstrated a temperament that is both firm and fair, and I am confident that he will treat every case that comes before him with the local context and legal rigor it deserves. And I urge this committee to favor his confirmation. So with that said, thank you. Okay.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Manglonia. The floor is still open for any member of the community that wish to offer testimony. And kindly state your name for the record. Thank you.
Buenas, half a day. Acting Chair Senator Snyder, Senator Manglonia, Senator Calvo, and Senator Castro. Guahu si Salome Hokuk Calvo. Hu felicita y bienvenido todos para Island Mommy, mas matungonia y bonita, cariñosa, cuidadon, zandilujoso na lugar. Loko'y hu recogniza y gobierno a Señor David Apatan, Jani Segundonya a Señor Dennis Mindiola. Por idangkulo konfiansanya para apunta si Señor Joseph Camacho para presiding judge, Jan si Joey San Nicolas para associate judge. Guahu utogui dididi na homework o sea lami guys dididi tatuluta. U adingani mege na tautaw siha ni manggaigi luta hafa tiningoniha pode si Joey San Nicolas dan si Joseph Camacho. Hufay sinsiha hafa sinintin mizu por este na intensyon ni para umapunta para presiding judge dan associate judge. Todos iukuntusi o sea itautauluta na tumungo este dos. Ma-aprueba itinanso dan intensyon i gobyerno. Pues gininihilo este guaho si Salome residente in luta hukagagaw hamjur na committee executive appointment dan government investigation para inabiba in confirma si Señor Joseph Camacho dan si Joey San Nicolas gaiki giza hamzu inangokon mami para konfirmasyon niya. Si Jules Marcy dan buen biyahe.
Jesus Masi, Ms. Calvo, for your testimony. The floor is still open for any member of the general public that wish to offer testimony on behalf of the nominees before us. And as you approach the bench or the mic, before you begin, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. My name is Eusebio Nglonia, and I'm here to support the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's nominees to be presiding judge and judge, PJJ and JJP. And you can hear everything, the support, they mention everything. So it's always good to be the last person maybe. So I don't have to say much, but they're very humble and honorable, great people of the society. Thank you very much.
Jesus Masi, Senyor Eusebio Manglonia. The floor remains available for still open for any member to offer testimonies. Anyone else? Because once we close public comment, we're moving forward. See someone approaching the bench, and kindly state your name for the record.
My name is Rebecca Martita Norita. I'm just here in support for my cousin Joey and JP San Nicolas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Norita. The floor is still open for further testimonies It looks like we're going to close this portion of the hearing. Public comment is now closed, and at this time, the chair recognizes members of the standing committee. If you have any questions, concerns, or inquiries with the appointees, and at this time, I recognize the gentleman appearing online, Senator Manny Castro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A lot of beautiful and meaningful public comments by our members of the Rota community. I just wanted to make a statement before I ask my question. And with social media technology, sometimes it's easier to or sometimes we forget that we're under the American system of justice, where you're innocent until proven guilty. So a lot of times with social media and technology, it's easier to follow the French system and think that that's the type of government that we have, or judicial process. So I'm just glad that we actually follow the American system of judicial process. This first comment or question is going to be for our nominee, Camacho, Judge Camacho.
Good afternoon.
Since this position specifically, the presiding judge it's going to be the administrative head of the trial court, responsible for managing overall operations, distributing the court's workload among associate justice, prescribing the order of business. It's more of a managerial role. So not just as a judge, I just wanted to ask you, what is your leadership style, and how would you hold judges accountable for their performance?
Good afternoon, Senator. I appreciate the question. First, maybe a little bit of background, and you will see that in my resume. Before I went off to law school, I took a detour and decided to get more student loans, and got a master's degree in public administration. So the presiding judge position, you're very much correct, is you in effect wearing two hats. There's a hat you wear when you're in the courtroom presiding over cases, but the presiding judge also has a second hat, which is the administrative arm for the Superior Court. And just so you know, I'm actually a sitting member, a voting member of the Judicial Council, which is the internal administrative body for both the Superior Court and the Supreme Court. So the three justices are automatic members. The presiding judge is also an automatic member of that Judicial Council, and there is one spot, which is currently what I hold, as a voted member by my colleagues of the Superior Court. So I've sat on that a good number of years now, and then we dispense with policies, standard operating procedures. We actually vote and discuss as to what the budget is, which the Most Honorable Justice Manglonia is the main proponent of that, and then we get to review that and offer comments and things of that nature to be helpful in that process. The management style, if you're saying, right, there's really not one size fits all, because you have to work with the people that you're working with. Some division managers require much more closer supervision, depending on how they're required to do their work. Other managers, I must put that, no, they give more longer leash because they're able to function in a more discretionary way, right? So to say that one particular management style would actually not be very productive, right? So you have to, as a manager, you read different employees, and depending on how they function, you have to also adjust so they can, some, like, I know what you're doing and you're doing great, so keep going. Other people require a little bit more hands-on, so I hope that answers some of your questions.
Yes, you did that really well, Judge, and it's glad to hear that you also have your MPA in addition to your JD. So the next question I have is actually for Attorney San Nicolas. What distinguishes you from other potential candidates, and why should this body, I guess the Rota community already answered this, but we'll hear it from you. Why should this body trust you with judicial authority at this time?
Thank you very much, Senator Castro, for that very important question. Those who know me, I'm not used to talking about myself. I'm not even used to putting myself above others, and I'm not in any position today to do that. But I can say, and I touched upon it in my opening statement, that I do feel that my years of experience as a private practitioner, as a prosecutor, as a mayor, and as legal counsel to various agencies throughout the Commonwealth, have prepared me for this very challenging role. Being a judge is challenging because you're entrusted with the responsibility of justice, of providing access to all who walk through the halls of justice and who enter your courtroom. And I've been fortunate to have experiences that lend to that. I believe that being able to listen to all parties and requiring that access to the courts, access to, regardless of your position in the community. There was a comment earlier about please don't forget about Iman Mamobli. Zauna pabina asigura I komite na eno na fino istina prohima apat sa kurson. Sinya bisangan na ineneno na patti magufzo barifa na sisti dialum isti igumaustisha para bena sigura na torudu iman halum yesti gumaustisha masea hafagwinahania dan especialmente zangin ti nanahu taza impedimento para adzusiana tautodis. E mesmo tempo, this requirement would be applicable to all. So thank you again. Those who know me, I do tend to talk in the vernacular, and my apologies if what I said was not understandable. But basically, Mr. Senator and members of this committee, I hope that my experiences will lend to the providing access of law or the justice to all people in the Commonwealth who seek or who petition the court for remedy, and those who come forward with their defense. Senator Castro, then member.
Chairman, that's all the questions I have. But before I go, I just wanted to thank the two nominees for their service to our community in the multiple hats that they've worn over the years. And that's all, Chairman. I yield. Thank you.
Senator Castro. At this time, Malaguzube recognize the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Donald M. Manglona.
Thank you, Chairman, and good afternoon to the nominees, as well as to everyone present here this afternoon and who came out and provided their testimony in support of the two nominees. With that, I just want to start off by first maybe asking Judge Camacho, in addition to what Senator Castro had brought up in terms of the role of a presiding judge, how will you, if confirmed as a presiding judge, how will you maybe handle things differently, or maybe what are some initiatives or programs you would like to see within the Superior Court?
Thank you, Senator. By example, I'll give you, when I first took on the probate docket, which I remember Senator asked our presiding judge, Naraha, about the probate docket, but in quick summary, for a long time, it took me a while to convince my presiding judge that there is no Tinian probate or Rota probate or Saipan probate. There's really just a CNMI probate. And to his credit, he gave me that leeway to combine those probate hearings. For the longest time, Tinian and Rota would have to wait months, literally months, to wait for a judge to come down to Rota or Tinian to hold those hearings. So what we've done, and I think we have some good hardworking staff here from the Rota Courthouse, and I credit to them. Every Thursday we hold the probate court in Saipan in the courthouse, and we turn on the switch, and virtually in Tinian Courthouse and the Rota Courthouse, we hold the probate docket. Because it's true, people move around, right? They have a property maybe in Rota, on Tinian, or even Saipan, or California for that matter, right? So what happens is we hold the probate docket, and attorneys who used to not enjoy doing probates in Rota and Tinian because they got to fly down and things of that nature, it takes so long they don't get paid until they close the probate docket. Now those probate dockets are moving. Hopefully, if I am confirmed with your blessing and the other senators, I would like to expand that to also include other dockets, meaning like the traffic docket, right? There is no reason why somebody who just wants to pay their traffic ticket has to wait 2 or 3 months just to pay a $25 ticket. When the traffic docket is called on Saipan, just show up to the Rota Courthouse, they flick the switch, and then the judge can preside over your case. Would you like to pay your ticket, or would you like to contest it? Judge who's handling the traffic docket, I would like just to pay for it, Your Honor, so that you can close the case. Things of that nature. And I've already had this discussion, and in anticipation, not to jump too far ahead, with the Rota staff as well as the Tinian staff, we can actually multiply that, Senator, with, instead of having just one courtroom, virtual courtroom in Rota or Tinian, we can have actually multiple virtual courtrooms in Tinian and Rota, meaning you can have the probate docket going as well as the traffic docket going, so the judges in Saipan can move on those cases and move them rather quickly. So we have other plans, but I hope at least that kind of gives a little bit of a taste of what we have in plan.
No, and thank you for sharing that. It's important we try to get everything going through and utilizing, the technology in that sense, but also just in terms of the condition of our courthouse here in Rota, and the difficulty of having to fly down with these cases, but also because the courthouse here is able to hold a good amount. I hope that discussions can continue with their municipality to be able to utilize some of these office spaces, just to make use of the courtroom, but also to invite people to come up, and hopefully our students too can also make that effort. Attorney St. Nicholas, my question to you is, how will you handle cases where the law is unclear and it's still evolving in that sense?
Thank you very much, Senator Mangloni, for that question. I would just like to say at the outset that I believe all judges must apply the law as it is on that day that they're reviewing it. I do agree that laws evolve. The legislature is responsible for that evolution, right? So if the legislature makes a change in the law, then on that day that law is looked into or considered, that is how you would apply the law. But I do want to say that for me personally, I do believe that there must be application of the law. Apply it to the facts, and that is where a decision will be rendered, and that is how it should be rendered. As to the policy, Mr. Senator, I would just leave that to the members of the legislature to determine how they would like to legislate on behalf of your constituents. But the laws that are enacted and are codified are what the judges and justices rely on, and they rely on precedent. They rely on basically prior rulings, and apply the law as it is on that day to the facts that's presented to them, and render a just decision pursuant to the rules that govern judges and govern attorneys. So again, thank you for that question.
Thank you, and thank you for your response. And just to piggyback on your response, do you think there should be a fine line between the two branches, or maybe there is some room or type of way in which the judiciary can provide guidance, or maybe some type of opinion to how the legislature can make things clear, especially in cases where the law is, it's broad in that sense?
Well, again, if given the honor of being confirmed to be a judge, my role would be to apply the law. Let me just say that I am a firm believer in the separation of powers, that there are three distinct branches in our Commonwealth: the legislative, executive, and judiciary, with each branch having their primary roles. And so long as there is no intrusion from one branch to the other, of course, communication is always key, but there are limits. As far as the judiciary is concerned, if it's presented with a question, a legal question, then the law of that day is what governs, is what gets applied. But I have no opposition for there to be communications among branches. But I do say that I respect the limits that are placed on the judiciary, insofar as those limits provide for integrity and really affirm public trust in the judiciary.
Thank you. I appreciate your response to that question. And now let me kind of shift focus a little bit. In your time as a private attorney, or even as a prosecutor, have you filed post-trial motions or appeals? And if so, what are the outcomes of your actions? And in moving forward, how will your decisions in that sense shape the way you are going to rule in future cases if confirmed?
I think this is a two-part question, and so let me answer the first one by saying that yes, I have appealed matters to the Supreme Court. I've also appealed matters to the Ninth Circuit Court, primarily in criminal matters, and also in criminal matters before the Supreme Court. And I believe everyone, I did provide a PDF copy of my response to the questionnaire, and one of the questions was, what is my experience basically in appellate practice? I wish it was more, but I do have some experience. And I offer the information that is there. I would prefer not to talk about the specific cases, just to say that they have primarily to do with matters of criminal defense. And I again refer to my appeals to the Ninth Circuit Court and to the CNMI Supreme Court. The second part of your question, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Senator, I would just respectfully refrain from stating how I would rule. I do bring my experiences, and that, of course, part of my experiences are as a private practitioner. But to state how I would rule on future legal issues that are presented, I would prefer to refrain from commenting on in that regard. But yes, I do have experience with the Supreme Court and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, but I will at this point reserve any comment about how I would rule, as saying how I would rule is basically promising an outcome, and it's my understanding that judges are not supposed to venture into that. Thank you again.
Thank you. I think for now, you know, we've heard from the community of Rota. You know, this hearing today is more of an opportunity for people to provide their comments on all your nominations, whether they support or have concerns regarding that. I will plan to address some of the more in-depth questions at our later hearings to provide opportunities for you guys to maybe not so much answer to some of the concerns that were brought forth, but you know, Judge Camacho, as what has been said during this hearing, as well as letters that our office has received. You know, oftentimes we, even as legislators, we make unpopular decisions, and at the end of the day, we ask ourselves, does it benefit the greater good? But in regards to that, the law, what is it? The Bar Association will be submitting their ratings, which we will also have the opportunity to review prior to our next hearing on Saipan. In addition to being able to fully go through the letter that we received from the AG, I hope that's something that maybe we can address at our hearing on Saipan to allow not just yourself, but for the members to also look through. This is something that we just got 2 days ago. So I hope that's something that we can, you know, maybe touch a little bit up on, and to allow you the opportunity to answer any of our questions, or maybe provide your response to that. Attorney St. Nicholas, my closing question is this: obviously you're here to accept the confirmation, but being that you've committed yourself to public service in the sense that you've served the people of Tinian as a mayor, you've also been attorney general and a prosecutor, is that part of your life you're ready to hang on the shelf and sit in this new role?
Yeah, Mr. Senator, thank you for that question. That the answer to that is in a conversation that I had with my wife when I first found out, and we thought about it, we prayed on it, and thought about it some more. And yes, there are challenges. I stated that in my earlier testimony, and without getting too much into what those challenges are, I'm sure you can assume what they are as a person who, if you're a judge, must be impartial. You must adhere to the rule of law, and you cannot be loyal to a constituency. You must be loyal to the rule of law and to the Commonwealth. And that can be a challenge for some people, especially given certain people's careers, perhaps, in public life, and perhaps that could be said of me. And so yes, I did consider all of that. And I'm here to let you know, Mr. Senator, and members of this committee, and the public, that I am ready, that I understand what the challenges are, and I'm prepared to move forward if given the opportunity and the honor to serve as an associate judge of the CNMI Supreme Court.
Thank you, Attorney St. Nicholas. And Judge Camacho, in my closing question, do you have any plans for, or maybe a proposal of looking at other courts we can establish here in the CNMI?
Currently, Senator, Judge Lillian Tenorio was actually in the process of grants, and we're internally in the court, we're actually asking an additional question when somebody gets arrested. Okay, and then what is your name? Well, your birthday, because those are essential, right, to identify the person, the birthday, whether their juvenile cases should be handled or if they're adults, it should be in adult court. But one of the questions that we've added to that list of questions is, have you ever served in the U.S. military, in the armed forces? And or sometimes, has the member of your household ever served in the U.S. military purpose? Because that also goes to the question of hopefully we can gather the data to justify a veterans court. So, and in part because the defendant, the person appearing in front of the court, is not necessarily the veteran, because you have a much more wider net, so to speak. The kids may be acting out at school, and that's where they're in juvenile court, because there's stress that's happening, through a parent or an adult brother or sister in the course, or they're getting evicted from their house, and that's why they're trying to find ways, whether the landlord's trying to kick them out because maybe there's stress in. So you can see like different things are bubbling up in order to try to capture that information that maybe this person or persons in the household are having issues in regards to the person that served in the U.S. military. So hopefully, if we can gather that data, we can justify those federal grants to actually establish a veterans court. That's one of the things that we're actually moving forward. Hopefully, we can establish that soon enough. Yeah.
Thank you. That sounds like a great idea. But just in addition to that, it was during my time also in the legislature where we've, supported the need for the drug court.
Yeah.
How has that really supported what's going on in the community, and are there still challenges there?
Definitely, the best person to really answer the in-depth questions is actually Judge Kim Tenorio, Teresa Kim Tenorio. She's the lead on that. She does the drug court cases. That's one of the things. She also does the family court, which is our monster of a docket in itself, right? There's everything from adoption, wardship, which is basically removing kids from their household, changes of name, divorces. All of those things are very much interrelated. They sound like separate things, but they're actually very much interrelated. And then the drug court, domestic violence, obviously, because maybe one of the person or one of the spouse or some family member is also involved. So she's handled it very well from inception. There's always little tweakings. Money won't solve everything, but obviously the graduation rate is high. But oftentimes there's not, I don't want to say oftentimes, but at times you have somebody that will fall off the wagon and come back in, right? So, and credit to her, no disrespect to PSS, but they get 25% of the budget, but they also, as much as they would like 100% graduation rate, sometimes they don't hit that mark, right? So perfection is, don't let perfection get in the way of good, right? So they're doing a lot of good, and they're testimonials annually, people showing up to the graduation saying that they've changed their life. So the old saying, you save one life, you save the world, right? So yeah, I hope that answers that.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you both for your responses today. And again, these are just some of the foundational questions that I wanted to ask prior to or before we head into our additional hearings on Rota or on Tinian and Saipan. So thank you again for making your way here to Rota, and I appreciate your responses today. I yield, Chairman.
Thank you, Floor Leader Manglonia. And at this time, the chair would call for a 5-minute recess. And at this time, Senator Calvo is recognized.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I'd like to begin by once again John Paul for representing the Governor and Lieutenant Governor for the nominees that are before us today. I would like to, we have two, so my questions most likely will be deferred till, the next further question due to time. We have, basically the presentation of public comment and the testimonies are valued in comparison to the noted written statements that we will look forward to. I just want to thank, first of all, our nomination, Mr. Joseph James Norita Camacho, for your presiding judge of the CNMI Superior Court to proceed in replace, as Judge Robert C. Naraha moves forward. And then knowing your prestigious resume and your years 16 plus and numbers even differ further back, I just, as Senator Calvo, I can recall, you in the outreach programs where you come to the elementary school with, Chief Justice Alexander Castro and many other judges. So we thank you for your outreach during those times, as we did mention with, the other member nominee, that we look forward on the educational aspect. How can we remain and promote, the governance of law, and especially when it comes to youth exposure? And you guys are, on the forefront, and what other grants and opportunities that we can have and continue for the kids, whether we're struggling or not, financially, we provide that opportunity. So one day the youth can be, represented and of course take over our shoes. So that is, I don't want to, so once again, we thank you for your enlightenment, Mr. Camacho, our presiding judge. And if I may turn to the nomination, Mr. J.P. Patrick St. Nicholas, Joey, for you, also your position and accepting the nomination for, on behalf of Judge Camacho. So everybody's in that transitional process. So thank you once again. Also, the questions I will, table till the next public hearing and so forth. So we thank you to both for your testimonies. Thank you for your, your family coming here to support, as well as your municipality of Rota, all the testimonies granted, as well as our CNMI representatives. So we look forward to the rest of the day. You guys enjoy Rota, and I'll leave it to Vice Chair. Thank you.
Asizus Masi, Senator Calvo. As mentioned earlier, we do have a series of hearings for all the nominees for Associate Justice, the presiding judge, and Associate Judge. Next week on Tinian, March 26, and again on Saipan, tentatively scheduled for April 1st, to which public are given the opportunity to submit comments or express their views of the nominees, to which also some of the members that are unable to pose their questions today will tailor our schedule during the subsequent hearings. So one of them is myself as our acting chair, but I do want to leave with this, that when we do come back, a couple of things that I want to highlight later, in the next, is the independence and impartiality, the CNMI law and federal relationship, cultural and community awareness, and I think this is more for the PJ nominee, case management and efficiency, for that matter. So I will refrain from posing any question at this time. And not to say that I don't have my own, inquiry as well, Judge Kamotsu and Attorney San Nicolas. But we'll leave it at that until the next scheduled hearing. Thank you for your understanding. We shall move forward. So all public comments are well taken. Let the record reflect that there are also written testimonies submitted from individuals in support of the appointees before this committee and will be included in the Senate Standing Committee recommendations report, along with the oral testimonies to be forwarded before the full Senate members in consideration for confirmation or rejection. At this time, before we adjourn, I would like to extend on behalf of the members of the Standing Committee our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Governor David M. Apatang's representative, Mr. John Paul Regis. Thank you for being here. The appointees, the Honorable Associate Judge Joseph Norita Kamatsu and Attorney Joey Patrick San Nicolas, and most especially the members of the general public for your participation and involvement during this important public hearing process. And we certainly hope that we continue this dialogue and communication between us, the elected officials, and the public to keep you abreast and informed of our current and future Senate hearings ahead that relate to the public's best interests. This concludes this public hearing for today. Do I hear any motion for adjournment? For a motion for an adjournment by the floor leader. Do I hear a second? Second? Second. Okay. All those in favor to adjourn this public hearing, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. This EAGI hearing stands adjourned. Good afternoon.